Hello and welcome to another live. I'm Jessica and I will be your host for this evening. I'll give everybody a few minutes to pop on. I know I'm a few minutes early. So everybody should be joining in here in the next few minutes. I know it takes a minute or two for Facebook to give notifications that we're live. Hopefully over this week, we're going to start to get the event set up. And hi Melinda. We're going to get the event set up and all of that. Melissa said good snowy evening. Yes, we're getting pounded with rain right now. And probably snow tomorrow. I don't want it. I don't want the snow. Hi Angela. Yeah, I don't want the snow at all. I'm sorry the lighting's terrible in here this evening. I don't know what's going on. Goodness, there's so much going on. For those that have worked up the practice piece is basically what we're going to be using for the shawl. I will be getting the math in. I did get everything worked up for the math except for the finger weight yarn. I have to work that out. Most of the finger weight yarn I have calls for between a 2 and a 4 millimeter hook. So I tried the 3 millimeter. Hi Erica, hi Debbie. From the 3 millimeter 2 sizes up, or 4 sizes up, was the 5 millimeter. I did try the 5 millimeter with the finger weight, which was the 3 ply. And I found that it was a little too loose for me. So I'm thinking with the finger weight, we're probably only going to need to go up 3 sizes. So that would be a 4.5. But I still have to swatch that. Things have been a little crazy. As a few of you know, behind the scenes that joined me live recently, a friend of mine and I have taken over a cleaning business. So I'm working nights and then coming home, going to bed for 2 hours, getting up, and then working during the day. So it's been kind of crazy. Let me see if this light will help. It probably will not. There we go. Maybe a little bit. So, yeah. So things have been a little bit crazy. My husband, as you all know, had ankle surgery, and it's not exactly healing the way that we had hoped. So I needed to get a job and another job that paid a little bit more. So anyway, that's life, and you just kind of roll with the punches and do what you got to do. So hopefully Erica and I can get the event set up, and we will get the math put in it for whatever the hook size, the yarn weight, and the math for each one that you're going to do. And then we will release the pattern in there with how many to chain for your yarn. So what we're going to do is basically we're going to have 3 posts with the math amounts. So for all of you that are joining us here, you'll know. And if somebody asks in the event, then you guys can answer it, help answer. But we're going to have the event, and we're going to have 3 main posts. And it's going to say the number 4 worsted weight. We're going to do the DK weight. And then we're going to do the finger weight. I don't really see a lot of people wanting to do the finger weight. Not that the pattern will not work up gorgeously in finger weight, because it will. But with finger weight, we're getting a much smaller gauge. So you're going to have to do like 600 rows. So I know when a lot of people hear that, they're going to be like, Oh, bless your heart, but that's not what I'm doing. It's not 600 rows. So, that's why I said I think the DK weight is perfect for this, the way that it's working up. It has beautiful drape. The fabric feels fantastic, and it feels very luxurious. The number 4 worsted weight does feel nice. We're using a hook that's 4 sizes bigger for it. But if you feel the difference between a few rows of the DK weight worked up and this almost feels like a blanket. It doesn't feel like the shawl, the kind of luxury design that we're kind of going for. So, you know, I'm not saying you can't work this up in a small, you know, in a climate that's colder or whatever, and you want something heavier, then yes, you're going to, you know, this would be fantastic, and it's looking fantastic, but it is much, much thicker, where the one that we're doing is like a light blanket. It feels so nice. Angela said, oh my God, the rows. Erica said, no, not that many rows. Yeah, it's, the when I gauged it, it's going to be like 600 rows. So, I am going to do another gauge swatch with the 4mm and the 4.5mm, but, yeah, it's going to have a lot of rows to it, and I really don't see a lot of people deciding to do that. So, I'm going to do it, but we are going to put the poll in this group this week. I actually, it slipped my mind last week. I know we said we were going to put the poll up to see how long everybody wants to work on this project. If you have an hour each evening, if you have 2 hours, if you have a half an hour. Angela said, I'm loving the DK weight, so soft. Angela actually is working up a practice piece in it, and she's really liking it, so I'm super excited because that's the weight that I have tried out that I absolutely love. But I know a few people are like, I cannot get DK weight, so I am going to do the math for the number 4 worsted weight. I might be able to fit all of the information for all 3 yarns in the about section, but if I do that, I think I'm going to do the DK weight first, because that's kind of what I want everybody to use, or I'm recommending for everybody to use. I know that that's not always possible to use what we're recommending, but I think the DK weight is working up perfectly, and it's becoming not a winter shawl, and it's not necessarily a summer shawl. It's like an in-between, and I think that the way that this is working up is fantastic. I absolutely love the weight, and I absolutely love the weight of this, because in the summertime the air will move through it, but in the wintertime it's still going to be warm enough that it's not going to be, you know, this will be good for the fall or the spring. You know, even in the summer, if you had a wedding or something that somebody wanted to wear this to, and it was going to be a little bit chilly in the air conditioning, this would be perfect, and it's not as heavy as like a winter, you know, it's not going to be thick like a winter blanket or like a Tunisian Graphghan that we do. So I think this is perfect. Hi, Mary. So, yeah. And this border, I'm absolutely loving how it's looking. So, yeah, I'm really liking this. I think, like I said, we're going to do the poll and post it in the group to see how much time everybody has to work on it, and that way we can decide how many rows a week we want to release. But the pattern's pretty straightforward. If you guys have worked up a practice swatch, then you guys should be able to do this pretty much with your eyes closed. So, do we have any questions so far about the swatches or the practice pieces that we've made up? Have you guys learned the stitches, or are you familiar with them? Has everybody been able to find it in the group? We kind of made it a part of an announcement so it would stay at the top of the group so that everyone can find it. So I'm hoping that no one's having any issues finding it. Mary said DK is a nice weight. Yes, I do like this because, like I said, it's good for fall, summer, and spring. This isn't super heavy for like winter, but you know, I think this is going to work fantastic for all of this. I think this would be nice for a wedding. You know, I know a friend of mine is getting married and she's using lilac as her colors, and she wanted a shawl because she was going to do like it's like a belt, but they had a baby, and now the belt looks not as appealing to her, so she's going to have a shawl, this same thing mating up. Debbie said she's still waiting on the grandbaby's arrival here. Oh my, I thought we were pretty close there for a while. So, do we have any questions about any of this that's going on? Anything? Is any of you good? I wish that brand yarn you're using came in purple. I know somebody got a light pink online. I am not sure if there is a lilac. I want to say, I thought I seen it, but don't quote me. I might have to go back on to Hobby Lobby's site. I know they have a yarn bee that's a DK weight, and I want to say there was a purple, but I think it's a lilac. I'm not sure. I'll have to check. Debbie said she's still at 1 centimeter. If it's the first one, sometimes it takes a while. Melinda says, I've looked, there's no purple. Let me think. I don't think I have, I'm trying to, Hobby is in Hobbii. They have a, I'm not sure if it's a twister or a twirl, but it's 4 strands of yarn that's not plied, so you got to put the bead on it. And I know that they have a purple in that. I do not have it. I'll get a cake though and show you. Hi, back. Melissa chose Oxblood. I really like that color, and I wanted to do it, but I picked up the blue, and I started with that, and by the time I got my gauge and everything perfect, I was pretty far along in a skein of blue, so I was like, blue it is. Debbie said second child 12 years apart. Yeah, when mine were that far apart, it did take me a while. I was dilated through part of mine, and then they actually had to induce me. Okay, Melinda. This is the Cotton Kings. This is Hobby yarn, Hobbii. This is 4 strands of yarn that is not plied, and you need the bead for that. This would be a finger weight, so you will need to probably double this up if I was going to do this to get the DK weight so that you did not have to do 1,000 rows. Not that you'd literally need to do 1,000, but it would probably be about 600. I am going to swatch this so that I know, but Hobby has this, and I really think this would be nice with this, because since it's a gradient, I think it would be nice, but I like this too. This is Rhea's yarn. This is called Lollipop. And for those that ordered the February cake, this just does not do justice to these colors. I really liked, what did I get here? This is the January special. I really like the January special. Anyway, let's see. Melinda said, that's pretty. Debbie says, I like that color. Melinda said, LOL. Erica says, Michaels has one, but less yardage. And that's by a Loops and Thread. Melinda said, I'd love to use Rhea's yarn. I love how the yarn works up. I do recommend putting a heavy bead on it when you crochet because it's not plied. And that's one of the things that people do complain about with cotton twirls, or the Cotton Kings as well. It's not plied. So some people are like, this is the worst yarn I've ever used. It's not that it's the worst yarn anybody has ever used. It's you are not used to working with this yarn, and that was what somebody else posted on the site. Like, this is the worst yarn I ever used. I don't recommend buying it. I like to crochet in the dark and watch TV and not know what I'm, not look at my work. So, I mean, that's one of the things with this not being plied. You have to make sure that you're paying attention so that you pick up all the strands, but it's really not, you don't have to be a genius to figure it out, but everybody has their own opinion about what yarn they like to use, and that's why there's so many different kinds of yarn. So, for those of you that have done your practice pieces, do we have any questions? Is anybody having any issues? I know the one video was super shaky, so is anybody having any issues? These videos will be put into the event, the practice videos, so that you guys are familiar with the stitches. For those of you that did the practice piece, you're already there. So pretty much all you're going to have to do is just follow the pattern. Hi, Sissy. So, and the math for whatever yarn you're going to use, like I said, I do recommend the DK weight because, oh my gosh, is it soft. It is coming out absolutely fantastic. Anytime I do take this thing out that I'm working on it, people love to touch it and feel it, and I get lots of compliments on it, so I think that y'all will love it too. But like I said, most of these yarns, what I'm finding is with any clothing item I do like a hook that's 4 sizes bigger because you get a nicer drape. So this is a number 4 worsted weight that calls for the H, which is a 5mm. And we're using an 8mm here, so we really had to go bigger with the number 4 worsted weight. And with the DK weight, we've gone up 4 sizes because it calls for the 4.5mm, and we are actually using a 6mm. Let me see, does it call for the 4.5mm? Yes, 4.5 millimeter for a crochet hook. So we are going up 3.5 hook sizes. So we've got the 4 millimeter, or 4.5 millimeter, 5, 5.5, what do I have here? And a 6. So yeah, we're actually going up 3 sizes. So from the 4.5 to the 5 to the 5.5 to the 6. So let's see, what do we got up here? Are gauge swatches useful for Graphghans or really just used for other projects, says Mary. Gauge swatches are extremely helpful for your Graphghans, and the reason for this is if you gauge swatch your J and K hook, which is the most popular for the worsted weight yarns, you will find that if you crochet like I do, then you'll get 4 stitches to an inch, and almost 4 rows is just a pinch over an inch. So when you do that, it's not going to be much taller than it is wide. If you crochet like some other people that are getting the gauge for the K that I get for K, you're getting 4 stitches wide and you're getting 3 rows tall. So if you have a blanket that is 240 stitches wide, at 4 stitches to an inch, you're getting 60 inches. But if you're only getting 3 rows high, then that will be 28 to 8. That'll be like 70, like 80 inches tall. So, and that's super important too, because when you add a border, that's why using the hook that you use for that, is super important too, because if you add a border afterwards and you have done this and you get 4 stitches wide but you get 3 stitches high and you're adding a border, if you're getting 4 stitches wide and you're going to turn the corner and do a mitered corner, you're still, the stitches on the bottom are going to be wider because you're working tall. So you're going to end up with your bottom and your top flaring. So it depends. That's why a lot of times too I like to incorporate the border, because it does help extremely with that. Hi Marguerite. Gretchen said, hi Jessica, I was able to buy the same DK yarn that you're using for the upcoming event in the same color. I'm so excited to get started. Yes, we are going to get the event set up hopefully this week. I know Erica has a few things going on, and I do, so we're trying to coordinate our schedules so that we can set everything up, and that way people are not in there asking questions as we're trying to set it up. So for you that have done the practice piece, if you have questions, you know, please ask in the group, because this is going to be an event and I know everybody's going to have questions about it that are going to be the same as you have. So don't, you know, I know that you guys, I tell you guys message me and I'll answer, and I do. But it's important to ask in the group too, especially for an event, because there are other people that have questions that don't want to ask. And I would love to see everybody's shawl all come out perfectly. Mary, for baby weight yarn, do you still go up in hook sizes? Yes, you do. For anything Tunisian, you go up hook sizes. And the reason is all of the stitches are not made through the stitch, they're made in the front, and it will cause your project to roll a lot, and it will be super dense, and then you are going to have something that's more comparable to a hot pad than an actual blanket. Hi, Gloria. You never have to be sorry to be late. We all get here when we get here, and these are able to be rewatched anytime. I'm glad I'm on time most of the time. For those that have the practice pieces done, like I said, if you have any questions, please post them into the group, because I know other people are going to have questions. Actually, whoever is on tomorrow, or I will post the poll asking how long everybody would like to be able to work on this in the evening, because I know people have jobs. They only have, you know, a half an hour in the evening time. You may only have an hour, so I would like to know what time frame people have, and then that way we can figure out how many rows we want to release at a time so that people can stay on board. Gloria said thanks, but I hate missing out. You didn't miss too much yet. um, so yeah, any questions yet? I will, like I said, I will put the gauge, oh, excuse me, the gauge swatch information in for the finger weight yarn, but like I said, you're going to need like 600 rows if you want to do the finger weight, the little favorites, or the hobby twisters, or hot cotton kings. But there will be the math in there for that. I know sometimes, even though the project takes longer, sometimes doing something with a thinner yarn is nice because it's mind-numbing and you can take it with you, and you're just working the same pattern over and over and over again. And you know, this is going to be, for some of you, they want to use this as an heirloom piece. So if you want to do that, then, you know, work it out in whatever yarn you want. Like I said, this DK is working up super nice. So this would work for fall, spring, or summer in air conditioning. This worsted weight would work up nice for something for winter, but it is super, I don't know, it feels more of a blanket to me than an actual shawl. So, but it's personal preference. Erica said, nope, not at Nyx. She's not working 1,000 rows up in any yarn. No finger weight for her. Let's see, what else is going on? Erica and I are getting together in April, and we are going to upload videos to the YouTube channel and get all of that done up. And for my birthday, her and I are going to North Carolina. Erica, border. Which border? The border is so elegant looking. Yes, I do like this a lot. Goodness, you can't even hardly. I do like this border. I like how this slanted stitch is working up. I did get a nasty gram from somebody saying that this is not the slanted stitch, it is the twisted stitch, but it is not. The twisted stitch, when you go in, you're going in from the top to the bottom, and then you're twisting your hook, and it gives a purl bump. And so I sent her a screenshot from the book and was like, that's not right, but if you want to call it that, you can. And unfortunately, that's one of the things about YouTube, is I can go on and call this kind of crochet whatever I want, and there will be some people that will pop on there and say, oh no, that's called whatever, and then there will be other people that will call it whatever I called it. So YouTube is fantastic for some things, but other things, it's like the bandwagon that everybody jumps on and just does what they learned on YouTube, and it's the gospel. So it's good for some things and not so good for others. Melinda said my birthday is this coming Tuesday. I'm a tax baby. My birthday is April 15th. And my address is, no, I'm just kidding. You guys don't have to send me anything. I'm an income tax baby, so I will be down in North Carolina in April. I'm so excited. Talk about borders and changing hook sizes for the top and the bottom. Okay, here's the thing with the borders. When you're doing the borders, the purl stitch, when you make it, it is a pinch wider. So, when you do 240 stitches of the honeycomb using the purl, it's going to be wider than the Tunisian simple stitch. So, when you do a Graphghan, what happens is, from the purl stitch being wider this way, and then the Tunisian simple stitch being skinnier, your bottom will be wider. It will flare out. It's not like it's going to ruffle, but it will flare out. So this side, you know, this may be 15 inches where this may be 17 inches. And yes, you can block it and pull this apart some and mess around with it, but I found the best way to combat that is I usually use a J for my Tunisian Graphghans. I use the I, which is one size smaller. It's 0.5 smaller. I use the I hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter hook, and I do the border. I start and I do the 10 rows of my honeycomb. After I do the 10 rows of the honeycomb, then I put on my pattern real big in a red thing to change the hook size, because I'm getting old and kind of forgetful, and, well, you know, you're not always paying attention, and your kids are talking to you, and the dog needs out, and the phone's ringing, and so, yeah, I write it down. So, anyway, after that, when you're starting your Tunisian simple stitch and you're starting the pattern, then I change from the I hook to the J hook. And that J hook will give you enough in the center where you're working your Tunisian simple stitch, so that when you're working it, you don't have this bottom flaring out at the top and the bottom. So then when I finish my pattern, again, I have a big red Sharpie on my page that says change hook size, so that I remember to do it for the top, because I found that it works much better. I've probably made about 50 Graphghans, and, you know, you kind of learn through trial and error and frogging and experience and blocking and cussing and, you know, anything that it takes. So, but that's for the border, because what happens is when you get to the sides and you have your border, it's only a few stitches. It's only 10, 15, 20 stitches. So it's not going to be that big of a deal as, you know, 15, 20, you know, 10, 20 stitches over a vast amount of 240 stitches. So, yeah, that's why we change just at the beginning and just at the end, because the difference between 240 stitches and then, you know, 220 stitches or 280 stitches, and then, you know, whatever you have for your inside, it works out better. Gloria said, I got my Hobby Lobby Soft and Sleek DK yarn in Ocean Wave. That was another color I was looking at. I was really liking the Oxblood, and I was really close to getting the Ocean Wave, and I wear a lot of burgundy, and my colors seem to be like navy blue, burgundy, gray, like a darker heather gray, and so I thought that this would work out better. I'm absolutely loving this. I did have a question about storing your hooks in this. Erica said I like the pumpkin color. I really like the pumpkin color too. But mine only had like 2 skeins of it, and they weren't getting it in for a while, so I was like, oh, poop. Somebody got their hook stuck in their project, and it pulled a yarn. Now, they have a bigger string on the back. If you go to the front of your project and you look at the way that the Tunisian knit stitch is worked up, you have V's that go like this. You can actually go in to that V with your hook and pull it out a little bit and actually go around the V up above it and pull your hook through those stitches and then the ones around it, and it will actually pull that yarn back in. And I don't exactly have an example because I fixed it on the last one. I think it was the last video or the video right before this. Another 2 videos before this. But yeah, I'm so glad and so excited that everybody has their colors picked out. I actually loved, that's how I ended up with denim only color with all the same dye lot. I should have ordered mine and I did not, so the new dye lot that I did get, this dye lot that's on here has more of a dark through it than this one does. But I think when it's worked up, it's going to be really close. I was very sad about this. I was swatching this, so I wasn't sure how many skeins I was going to need and all this other, so I ended up buying 3 skeins thinking it would be enough, and I ended up having to go in. So when I talked to the woman, she said next time, you know, swatch first and then order however many skeins you need, and they will actually make sure that they're, you know, they get them in and that it works out, because like I said, this and this is really close, but this actually does not have this one's really dark. Like, it's got darker, you can kind of see it there a little bit. Anyway, it'll work out. So, do we have any questions so far about any of the stuff that we're working on? And like I said, this is going to be even though this is a TCal that we're all going to be working on, do not be like, oh my gosh, I fell behind, this is going to be deleted. This is going to be up for like 2 years. So, do not panic if you fall behind. I firmly believe that life happens and it's not something we can plan. We all have births and deaths and accidents and surgeries, and life just happens. Your car breaks down, whatever. It all happens, and I do not want to be one of them places that's like, okay guys, we got 8 weeks. We're going to crochet 100 rows a week, and in 8 weeks we're going to be done. I don't like that. Or you have to buy my pattern. You can buy it cheap. It will be on sale for $29.95. That's not going to happen here. This is going to be a cal. It's going to be designed for so many weeks, but it is going to be up for people to show afterwards. Please do not think you have to cram this into however many weeks we do this. This will be up. You can post your pictures in it when you get to it. There will be people posting pictures in this group 6 months from now, 8 months from now. We get new members in. They can join the event, do it. You know, invite all your friends to do the event. You know, your neighbors, whoever, share it on your page. You know, a lot of us have friends we don't even know on Facebook that crochet, and this is perfect for like, hey, by the way, if you crochet, join this group. We're making this. Haha, here's a picture of me. Erica said, I think it's so close it should be fine. Melinda said, but wait, there's more. Yeah. But wait, there's more. This is free. It will be up for 2 years. Do not panic. We got you. It's not going to happen here. So, take your time. Do this as a leisurely project. Do not feel like, oh my gosh, Cindy's having a baby, so now if I don't finish this, I'm never going to get it. You'll be fine. This will be up for a while. So, I know we have new members here. For all of the new members that are watching, if you have questions about hooks, please don't hesitate to ask. I have just about every set of hooks that's on the market that you can get. And if you have questions, you know, yes, we kind of have our two most favorite sellers in here, but that does not mean that's what you're looking for. So, don't hesitate to ask questions, you know, pop in the group. There's no such thing as a dumb question or a question that's been asked too many times. We are a teaching group. That's all capital letters, guys. We are a teaching group. I don't care if I have to say this 1,000 times. We are a teaching group. So any questions you have, they will get answered here. We do go live. I know that there are a few Tunisian groups that say, hey, you know, look in our files. Hey, join us live here. You can ask anything you want, and if you can't join us live, ask in the group. You know, the lives stay up so you guys can watch them anytime you want. But also, this group, there's always somebody on. I know that life gets hectic sometimes, and your question will get answered. It may take a couple hours, but it'll get done. Erica said, we are a teaching group. Good job. That's what we are. I am still waiting for Furls to release their king snake hooks. I do have the hook shown here. These metal pieces have, this piece has a point that fits into here, and then into here, into here. So the points kind of keep it all together. I have seen a couple of these busted. Furls will replace them. But to me, my yarn is catching where the joins are. So I am really excited for the other ones to come out to try them. I did get 2 of these, and when they do come out with the other ones, I actually may send that back. But they are coming out with the king snake, which is this one, and then they're coming out with a Cruella one, which almost looks like a swirl that goes up a straw. So I'm super excited about that. I think that I'm going to get my half sizes in the king snake and my whole sizes in the Cruella, but I don't know yet. Melissa, for blocking, I'm new to that, but I'm guessing that it would need to be done every time the project is washed. There's kind of a yes and no to that. Angela said, I want the Cruella. Poor lady at Furls. I text her every week for an update. Well, if you find out before me, then let me know, Angela. A lot of projects for Graphghans, I like to block mine in the beginning, and here's why. They're going to a customer that has paid me a significant amount of money for my very hard work. So I block mine so that they're perfect when I gift them. Some people that I have will actually lay these flat to dry, because that's the instructions that I have with them, is to take these on the comforter, and you know, you can wash them in the washer on a gentle cycle and throw them in the dryer on an air dry just for a few minutes, and then plop them on your bed and let them dry the rest of the way. This is something that's going to be blocked. We are going to have a whole blocking video on this. And a lot of times, something like this that's blocked, once I give it to my customer, they're going to do what they want with it. But something like this that I like blocked, and I like to look professional all the time, when I do wash this, because a shawl's not something you really wear every day. It's not like a jacket or a sweater or, you know. So when I do wash mine, I like to wash them on delicate and then spin them out and then lay these flat to dry, which, as long as you lay them flat to dry and kind of manipulate them so that they're square, you don't have to like steam block them, or you don't have to really spend that much time on them after that. So, but blocking for the most part does not hold. Now, the thing about blocking is that a lot of people like to do it with an iron or some of the really high garment steamers, and if you get too close, Angela did a fantastic post about this. Your yarn, and as you can see, these stitches here, they kind of pop up and they look all, they have texture to them. If you block this with something like an iron and you get too close, or your steam garment steamer on high, then this will become super shiny and these will elongate and become very flat, which is why I do not like the iron at all. I use a garment steamer, and the garment steamer, you can kind of, if you start out further away, you can see when the project, you know, if your edges are curled up, you can see from further away when you hit it with the steam, they'll start to relax a little bit. And then you can go in a second and lay it down. Do not go with the steam and put your hand there, because you will burn yourself. The stuff does get hot. But we're going to have a video on that. But, you know, you'll see when you lay it flat and you go in with a garment steamer, like your edges, things will just start to relax when you're further away. When you get close enough, you'll see the things start to relax. And then, you know, you just move away for a second, and then you can use your hand after it's cooled for a second. Mary Bailey says, what would you use the king snake one for compared to the other? These are fixed hooks. They're small, so this is like if you want to do something small, a small project like a pillow, a small shawl. Let's see, this is going to be 120. You could cram the 126 stitches on here and still be comfortable, because this is like 14 inches, 12 inches. So, I mean, a small project you could put on there and be nice. I like to try all the new hooks out on the market so that everybody kind of knows, like, get this, don't get this. Especially because there are so many people that are like, hey, you know, I really like this, and, you know, I want to tell you my honest opinion, because I don't want you guys ordering something and then being like, well, you know, all these people said, oh, this is great as a Tunisian hook, but then they don't use it a lot. So, Gloria said, are the furl hooks pointed like the Knitter's Pride? I love the hooks so much, I don't want to be disappointed, but those hooks look cool. The Furls hook does have the size on it. This is a 5.0 millimeter. That's the handle. This is the end. They are pretty much rounded, and the way that this tip is, it's super thin, almost like an inline and not the tapered. But I did want to try these. They do not have they have an end that's kind of pointed, but it's not like the Knitter's Pride is. But I thought this would be a nice set to have and use for some small projects when I go out, and not necessarily be a status symbol, but, you know, be a luxury piece to have, and to be able to give you guys input on them too. Knowing me, I will go back to my Knitter's Pride set. I know that's terrible, but the Knitter's Pride Dream set I absolutely love for beginners. The Knitter's Pride Ginger set I love once you figured out, hey, I really like this, because it comes with the case, it comes with some bigger hooks, and, you know, it's something you can invest in later on down the road. Your cables will all fit. The only thing I did not like about the Knitter's Pride Ginger set that I loved about the Knitter's Pride Dream set is the color-coded, the color-coordinated cables. I know when I pick my orange cable out, you know, my red cable out, I know that my red cable's 40 inches. I know that my orange cable's 32 inches. And, you know, I know this is 24 inches because I've used them for so long. Where they're, the Knitter's Pride Ginger set, they're all black. So, it's not like a deal breaker, but it's just something that I liked over the other one. Erica said, I am shawl illiterate. I can't figure out how to wear them because I have no shoulders. I have no shoulders either, but here's the thing. With a rectangle shawl, you can literally throw it over each shoulder, and as long as it drapes down your back, you're fine. Another thing is, I have seen a few people that get chilly. And since we're doing this lengthwise, when your shawl comes down, I have seen a few people actually tack a piece of elastic in here so they can put their arm into the elastic piece and it will move with them, and I absolutely love that idea. Since I'm just tacking, I should be okay. I absolutely am terrible at sewing. Gloria said, I'm not sure how to wear one. I've never had it before. Yes, this is going to just drape over you like this. And it's going to come down your back. And we're doing this so that this is going to be long enough that, you know, when this comes around here, it's going to be able to fold a little bit. I wanted something that if it was a little chilly and you have short hair, you could kind of pull it up around your neck a little bit and be comfortable and have it still hang down your back. So, you know, this for me is, with me sitting down, is clear into my crotch. So, you know, if I'm sitting with this wrapped around me, this can come up around my neck and I will be warm enough that if you have short hair, you don't have to worry about your neck freezing off because your back's cold and you need it down there. Melissa said, great, thanks. Good thing I own an iron that's never been used. Yeah, I'm terrible with an iron, so I killed a project in one section and I absolutely cried. I did. I sat down and cried. I was like, you know, I have 2 months worth of work in this and I just killed it. The person I made it for, it wasn't a customer and she didn't mind, but I knew where it was, and when she would wear it all the time, I would see it and be like, oh gosh. Is there a garment steamer that you recommend? There are several that are handheld. There are some that are garment steamers that will hold like almost like a half a gallon of water, and they've got a handheld with a cord. I like that one, but the reason that I like that one is because it holds more water than the little handheld one. Because here's the thing, I use my garment steamer on a lot of stuff. Every spring and winter when I clean the house and I take my curtains down, or, you know, if they don't need cleaned because it's not really that dusty, I will steam them, or steam mattresses because it kills dust mites, and, You know, it's good if you get bed bugs, and like the garment steamer it's like the magic machine, you know, it can do all kinds of stuff. I do like to, you know, you wash your curtains and you dry them in the dryer, and if you don't get them out of the dryer right away to get them all hung up, sometimes they still have lines in them if they're brand new. You use your garment steamer, and they're perfect. I use it on so much stuff. I do use it on my bed twice a year to um, steam it, just because it does help with odors. It helps with dust mites, anything that might be in your mattress. Um, so I like that one because it's bigger and it holds more water. And the only thing I've got is the little wand. But like I said, it's personal preference. Um, Angela said, I'm using my fixed hook for the corner-to-corner entrelac blanket because it's 15 at a time. Yes. Gloria said, thanks for the info. Erica said she got hers from Aldi's. And Melinda said she'll look at hers. Yeah, there's smaller ones that Aldi sells, and there's, you know, a few ones. You can go on to Facebook Marketplace and find them. You know, everybody's like, oh, I'll jump on Amazon. Go to Facebook Marketplace, search it, and see if you can find one cheaper. And look at them. You know, that's all you can do is go on there, and you may see one that's like, oh, you know, this is what I want. And then you may see one on Facebook Marketplace, and it may be $10, and you'll be like, oh, that ain't the one I want. So, you know, it's just personal preference. And, you know, it's whatever you guys like, whatever you're comfortable with. I've had shoulder surgery, so, like, I don't want something with a big half-gallon canister that I'm trying to, because I don't think I could do a big project like that. So I like the one with just the cord, so I can go over my project. But like I said, you do not want to get super, super close. The garment steamer does not heat up like an iron does. You can get too close with the garment steamer, but it's also easier, like holding an iron over a project, especially if you've got like a 60-inch or 90-inch Graphghan and going over it, and you know, you're going to get tired, and if that iron gets too close, you're going to know it, because you're going to have this spot and it's going to be all shiny, and the stitches are going to look flat, and you're going to be very upset, and you're going to cry, probably, because that's what I did. Melinda said, same here, shoulder surgery. Yeah, that's why I like the kind with the cord, because all I have is just a little piece, and that cord, you can actually set that piece, the canister up on the bed and do it, and you're not like really moving it all over the place. So, you know, I find that one easier than holding something that's like a 2-liter bottle of soda. But it depends on your needs. Some of them have a light steam and a heavy steam. If you're going to do this, I recommend a light steam. Mine just doesn't have that, you know, that option, because it's a little bit older, but it works fantastic. And like I said, I don't have to get like, you're not ironing it, so you're like 5 or 6 inches away when you do it. Now if you're doing your curtains, you can put that steamer right up on it, and you'll have no problems. But there will be a video on that, and so that will be going up in there. The videos will be right and left-handed. They will be closed caption. It may take us a little bit longer to get the closed caption and the left-handed in there. Eric said I can hold a 2-liter soda, but to drink out, not to steam with. Yeah, I kind of like my soda and my sweet tea myself. Okay, guys. I hope that everybody's got their yarn for their cow. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. We're all here in the group to help. A lot of, if not all, I'm pretty sure all of the mods have swatched and done the practice piece. So everybody should be familiar with the stitches and know how to answer any of your questions. So if there's anything that you guys need to know, don't hesitate to ask. Again, we are a teaching group, and this will be up for a while. So, oh yes, and Hobby Lobby's yarn is on sale next week, so if you need to go in and buy some, buy some. This will go according to your height. Each 16 inches is going to be a skein of the Soft and Sleek DK. This is what the label looks like. We are using a 6mm hook with it, which is the J hook. So, if you guys need anything, don't hesitate to ask in here. We do have post approval on right now because of me working, and the mods are still on during the day, and I am on as much as physically possible, but we do not want to be overrun with spam or anything else that's inappropriate and not crochet related. We do have the watch parties turned off, so that's why there are none in here. For those of you that have Facebook groups, you can go into the settings and shut the watch parties off. So hopefully y'all will, anybody that sees that will be like, oh, that's fantastic. What length of cable are you using with the J hook on your shawl? This one is 12 inches. I'm using one of this is the Chiagu spin set. Somebody asked me to try these, and I have them, and I like these. I think they're a nice set. For Graphghan, I don't think they come with cables that are long enough, which is why I like the Knitter's Pride, because you get, you know, such an extensive array of lengths. But, you know, you only need something short. This is like maybe 18 inches, but I don't even need all of this, but this is what come with it. Your shawl will be like 28 inches, so 3, 8, 16, 9, 18. So, like, as long as you have, if you have 10 inches, you're good. You could do it on this fixed hook and be fine. Even if your shawl, you know, your cable should be between 1/3 and 1/2 of your project. You don't want, and here's why. When you're crocheting, you know, your cable kind of dangles, even though you keep your hook horizontal to your work. This cable hangs, and the more stitches you have, and the longer this is, and the more that your work is down here, it bends your cables and will make your connection weak. And that is why you only use a cable that is between 1/3 to 1/2, because then you've got all this weight down here on your project, and this is really bending, and you don't want that. So when you're crocheting along and you've got your cable that's short, what happens is your stitches come down here and your weight's on there, but even though your weight's on there, you know, you hold your work up a little bit, and it's a little bit of an angle, so you don't have that weight, where if you've really got that long cable, it's clicking around down there, and the weight goes down further, and it puts excess stress on this, because, and that's the thing too, you know, this cable kind of sets in your lap as you crochet, so it's not so bad. Where if you're doing, like when I do a California king size, they get heavy, and I have to make it a point to roll the California king size up on my lap and make sure that, you know, this cable is resting kind of on my leg a little bit. So, like I said, you only need, you know, if you have the Knitter's Pride, the smallest cable that they have that comes with the set, I think is 24 inches, you'll be absolutely fine. I ended up ordering some of their shorter ones I think they have a 9-inch and something else, but that includes the length of your hook as well. So, the 24-inch, it really has like a 20-inch cable or a 19-inch cable. So it's not that bad. So yeah, you don't need a wide cable. This is only going to be 28 to 30 inches. It's going to depend on your tension. And the thing too is when you block it, it's going to grow about a half an inch to an inch. Because when you steam it, the fibers are going to relax, but it's not a lot. If your project grows like 2 inches longer, you know, for the width of it, you're getting too close. That's why Angela did the thing on steam blocking and what it looks like and how it changes the dynamic of the fiber. Melinda said I ordered the shorter ones too. Yeah, I think the shorter one I have is like 9 inches, and then they have a 12-inch one or something like that. But yeah, I do use those when I do something small. Because I think my first set was actually the metal fixed ones, and they were so heavy. And then, you know, you're trying to cram work on it, and it didn't work out so well. So when I got these, and you can put the cables on them, it was a game changer. That's why I like my students, my physical students that are around me, to try these cabled hooks. So, alright guys, if we don't have any more questions for this evening, please pop over, if you have not, and watch the videos for the T-Cow that's going to be starting. The practice piece is up in the announcements at the top of the page. So, you know, pop over there, watch them. The math is going to be up for all three sizes of yarn, for the number 4 worsted weight, for the DK weight, and for a finger weight. Like I said, I don't see a lot of people doing the finger weight, only because it's going to be so many rows, because this is not super lacy. And so it's not going to work up. It's going to work up more dense in a smaller size hook, so there's going to be a lot more rows. Erica just posted the link for the announcement, so, you know, pop over there. If you guys got any questions, let me know, and I hope that I will see you guys all next Wednesday evening. Have a fantastic week, and we will have this T-Cow up and going, and the poll posted probably tomorrow. So that way we can figure out how many rows you guys want to do a night, or, you know, what's manageable for a week for you guys. So, thank you all for joining me. It's you members that keep this group great. And have a fantastic week. I'll see you guys. Bye.